Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second webinar in our series on open educational and open access resources. Today, we are focusing on why you should use OER and OA. So first, I want to welcome you. This webinar was supposed to be presented by my colleague, Tricia Clark, who is the Community College Engagement Librarian, but unfortunately, the internet has gone down on campus, so I am stepping in to cover for her. My name is Megan Kowalski, and I am the Outreach and Reference Librarian at the UDC Library, but I do want to give credit to my colleague, Tricia, for putting together this wonderful presentation. So today we're going to talk about why you should use OER and OA, specifically about the issues of equity, which include the affordability of OER and OA for students and the accessibilities of these materials. I'll also talk about the benefits of using OER and OA in the classroom, which includes the promise of engaging classroom sessions. And finally, I'll talk about how OER and OA create space for diversity in academic publishing. And at the end, I'll share the upcoming webinars in the rest of this series. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. You can either drop them in the chat or you can wait until the end where we will have time for questions both recorded and unrecorded. So first things first, it's no secret that the cost of post-secondary education, including the cost of traditional textbooks, has grown exponentially, and this often poses a barrier to educational access for many of our students. One of the primary advantages of OER and OA is that these materials can help alleviate some of the financial burdens for students. Faculty can help students save money by replacing traditional commercial textbooks with no cost or low cost resources in their classrooms. And this effectively helps remove that barrier to classroom participation. In some instances, OER and OA may even provide some financial benefit to the educational institutions. The benefit of using OER and OA is that faculty can make resources available to students so that even when the course ends, they're still able to access these materials. This doesn't mean that there aren't other barriers to consider, such as the availability of internet access. However, making resources available to students beyond the scope of the course enables them to revisit these materials for a variety of educational and applied purposes, and it also supports lifelong learning. Many students, in order to save costs, often rent their commercial textbooks, and those have to be returned at the end of the year. With OER and OA, students have perpetual access to these materials, not only when the course ends, but even once they graduate. This also gives faculty the opportunity to help students see themselves as lifelong learners. Providing this access effectively increases the educational return on investment for these students over time. And as we know, a lot of our students are cost conscious, so they want to get the most bang for their buck while they are here at UDC. Another thing to consider is the accessibility of the material itself. In other words, users may experience potential barriers due to the material's design and presentation. Accessibility is not guaranteed with OER materials, and there is a wide range of accessibility for OER materials. For instance, while some materials incorporate accessibility needs into their design and presentation, others may not. However, since OER materials can be reused and repurposed, it is much easier for faculty to adapt these materials to fit the needs of their students, or for students to adapt the material themselves to fit their own needs. It lets students have access to the core functions of these materials and use them in a way that works best for their education. An additional reason to use OER and OA in the classroom is the potential for having more meaningful, engaging, and culturally appropriate classes. The nature of OER, specifically its ability to be remixed and adapted, is ideally suited to allow for adaptations that facilitate student engagement within a specific course. One outcome of the uses of OER is that it increases classroom participation, which is often due to the equity and access to course materials. Students who can access the readings and homework for classes more easily tend to be better prepared and even willing to participate in classroom discussions or connect their readings with other course content. Studies also show that the use of OER enables students to both stay in the course and help them pass the course. Finally, OER and OA gives faculty the flexibility to revise and adapt materials to be culturally relevant and to adapt educational content for specific cultural contexts. This can be particularly important for materials that may lack a variety of language options. OER is also instrumental in creating space for diversity in academic publishing. Despite some recent advances that have resulted in organizations like We Need Diverse Books and a push for books to be written by diverse authors and with diverse characters, the publishing industry is still woefully lacking, particularly in racial and ethnic diversity. This lack of diversity includes university and commercial textbook presses. Publishing OER provides an alternate publishing model, one that encourages authors of various backgrounds to publish using a variety of publishing tools and platforms. The platforms and tools are free and also diverse, allowing educators to choose what works best for them from a range of options. These materials are, of course, also peer reviewed by a diverse set of readers. Ultimately, OER enables educators to bypass the gatekeeping that tends to happen in a traditional publishing context. Because anyone can create these materials, they are more readily accessible for both authors and the students who use them. And so to encourage the adoption of OER, Open at WRLC is offering a $2,000 course transformation grant to support and incentivize WRLC instructors who wish to replace their existing commercial textbook with no cost or low cost courseware material using OER. All WRLC instructors are eligible to apply for this program, and that includes UDC professors. We began this program in the spring with 15 instructors throughout the consortium creating revised syllabi and other support materials needed to transform their course into one using OER resources. These revised courses are now being taught, and WRLC began accepting applications for the second year of our pilot program in January of this year. We have been offering workshops this spring that provide more specific details on this program. The next one is February 14th at noon. So take a look at the website, which is open.wrlc.org, or ask your TOG representative for more details. And I am one of the university's representatives. So if you are interested at all in applying for this grant and have questions about it, please don't hesitate to contact me, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. We have 3 more webinars in this series dedicated to OER and OA. In a couple of weeks, my colleague Catherine Meals will be providing a webinar on open pedagogy. A few weeks after that, Tricia will be here to help you find OER and OA to use in your courses. And finally, I will be back at the end of this series to discuss adapting OER and OA for your specific courses. This series, you can find the link on our guide here to sign up for these, or you can get to the registration page for this on the library's homepage under the events link. And these webinars are free and they will be recorded. And so if you can't attend live, we will send the recording to all registrants after the event has concluded. And so I know this was, short and sweet, but we do want to let you know that you can always contact us if you have any questions at all, not just about OER, but about the UDC library in general. You can email us, use our online chat service, schedule an appointment, or stop by and visit us in person in Building 71 on the 6th floor. And so now I'm happy to take any questions. You can either drop them in the chat, or if you would prefer to unmute yourself, that's okay. And I'll also provide time for unrecorded questions after that. Just waiting a moment. Okay, not seeing any questions come in. I do want to thank you for attending today. I'm going to stop the recording now and give time for any unrecorded questions people may have. Thank you.